To appreciate the significance of this new revival, one must first look back at the turbulent history that shaped Ghana's aviation sector. When Ghana Airways was established in 1958, just a year after independence, it was seen as a beacon of sovereignty and national identity. The airline quickly became one of West Africa's most respected carriers, flying to destinations across Africa, Europe, and North America. Its fleet carried not only passengers and cargo, but also the pride of a young nation eager to show its capability to the world. For decades, Ghana Airways represented Ghanaian excellence in the skies. However, as the years went by, mismanagement, political interference, and mounting debts gradually eroded the airline's stability. By the early 2000s, Ghana Airways was facing serious financial difficulties, and in 2004, the government was forced to shut it down. The closure was a painful moment for the country. It symbolized not just the loss of an airline, but also the end of a chapter in Ghana's post independence optimism. In the aftermath, the government made another attempt to fill the gap by launching Ghana International Airlines in 2005, a public private partnership that was meant to replace the defunct national carrier. Initially, there was hope that lessons from the past would lead to a more sustainable model, but the airline soon encountered the same problems that plagued its predecessor: political disputes, limited capital, and inconsistent management. Within a few years, it too ceased operations, leaving Ghana without a national flag carrier once again. The void was filled by foreign airlines that dominated international routes to and from Accra's Kotoka International Airport. While these carriers helped maintain connectivity, they also highlighted the dependence of Ghana's airspace on external operators. For nearly 2 decades, the absence of a national airline became a recurring topic of debate among policymakers, aviation experts, and the public. Many believed that Ghana needed a flag carrier to support tourism, trade, and the growing middle class who increasingly relied on air travel. Others argued that the focus should be infrastructure and private competition rather than a state-backed airline. Still, the nostalgia and the sense of unfinished national pride persisted. The Black Star, once emblazoned on the tails of aircraft flying across the continent, remained a powerful image in the collective memory of the people. By 2024, with Ghana's aviation infrastructure expanding and Accra's Koka International Airport ranking among the best in Africa, the conversation about reviving a national carrier regained momentum. When President John Dramani Mahama returned to office, he identified the aviation sector as a key pillar of Ghana's economic transformation agenda. Under his leadership, the government signaled its intention to reestablish a flag carrier that would serve both regional and international routes, this time through partnerships that minimize risk and leverage global expertise. Unlike previous attempts, the new approach focused on sustainability, efficiency, and long-term viability rather than political symbolism alone. In May 2025, the government made headlines when it announced discussions with investors from the United Arab Emirates. The plan was to establish a modern, financially sound airline with support from experienced aviation partners. The news was received with optimism across the country. For many Ghanaians, especially those in the diaspora, the prospect of seeing a national airline return to the skies under the Ghanaian flag rekindled a deep emotional connection. President Mahama emphasized that the revival would not simply be about nostalgia, it would be about positioning Ghana as a strategic aviation hub in West Africa. With Accra already serving as a major stopover for several international carriers, a national airline could enhance connectivity, promote tourism, and strengthen trade links with Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Following the announcement, a 10-member task force was established to oversee the project's feasibility and implementation. This committee, composed of aviation professionals, economists, and government representatives, was tasked with evaluating various partnership models, financial frameworks, and operational strategies. Their mission was clear: ensure that the new airline does not repeat the mistakes of the past. The task force began consultations with industry experts and international aviation bodies, reviewing proposals from potential partners who could bring both capital and operational expertise. Among these potential partners were companies from the UAE, as well as European firms with a long history of managing successful flag carriers. By mid 2025, another promising development emerged when reports confirmed that Ghana was also in talks with Portugal's national airline, TAP Air Portugal. This potential partnership offered a different strategic advantage: access to TAP's extensive European network and its technical expertise in managing a medium sized but globally connected airline. The discussions were centered on exploring a joint venture that would see TAP providing technical support, training, and possible aircraft leasing, while Ghana retained majority ownership and national branding. The Mahama administration's openness to multiple partnership models demonstrated a pragmatic approach, one focused on long term sustainability rather than short term politics. Meanwhile, at home, the Ghanaian aviation landscape was becoming more dynamic. Private operators like Air Ghana and Passionair were expanding their services, and new entrants were preparing to venture into regional routes. The revival of a national airline was expected to complement, not compete with, these private efforts. It would serve as an anchor for the industry, connecting Ghana more efficiently with the rest of the world and reinforcing Accra's growing status as a continental aviation hub. Um, the timing could not have been better. Ghana's economy was diversifying, tourism was rebounding, and global investors were showing renewed interest in West African markets. The government's vision for the new Ghana airline goes beyond passenger transport. It is part of a broader national development strategy that links aviation with tourism, trade, and technology. The airline is expected to boost the hospitality sector, open up new routes for exports, and enhance Ghana's image as a modern, well connected nation. President Mahama and his team understand that in the 21st century, national carriers are not just transport companies. They are strategic assets that drive soft power, investment, and international visibility. By combining Ghana's hospitality with global aviation standards, the new airline could become one of the most admired in Africa. Public response to the revival has been generally positive, though not without skepticism. Many Ghanaians remember how previous national carriers collapsed under the weight of mismanagement and political interference. This time, however, the government has pledged to ensure transparency and professionalism in the airline's operations. The new structure is expected to feature a hybrid ownership model where the state holds a controlling stake, while private and foreign investors provide technical know how and financial muscle. This balance is designed to shield the airline from the kind of bureaucratic control that undermined its predecessors. At the same time, the government is investing in complementary infrastructure to support the airline's success. Kotoka International Airport continues to undergo upgrades to accommodate more flights and modernize its logistics. Plans are also underway to expand Takoradi and Tamale airports, which could serve as secondary hubs for domestic and regional routes. These developments indicate a holistic strategy, one that sees aviation as a catalyst for national growth. Ghana's geographic position in West Africa gives it a natural advantage, serving as a bridge between the Western Hemisphere, Europe, and the rest of Africa. With a strong national carrier, Ghana could fully leverage this advantage, attracting more business and tourism traffic through its airports. The revival of the airline also has symbolic importance in regional geopolitics. Neighboring countries like Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire have revived their own national carriers, and Ghana's return to the skies would enhance competition and collaboration within the ECOWAS region. It would also strengthen Ghana's influence within the African Continental Free Trade Area, (AfCFTA), whose secretariat is headquartered in Accra. A reliable national airline could facilitate easier movement of goods, services, and people across the continent, furthering Ghana's role as a leader in regional integration. Behind all these developments lies a story of perseverance and national aspiration. For decades, Ghanaians have watched as their country's aviation dreams faltered and revived, failed and rose again. The determination to bring back the black star in the skies reflects something deeper: a collective belief in Ghana's potential to achieve world-class excellence. In many ways, the airline revival is a metaphor for Ghana's broader national journey. Setbacks have not defined the nation, but rather strengthened its resolve to move forward. As 2025 progresses, there is a growing sense of anticipation. Aviation enthusiasts imagine what the new livery will look like. Perhaps a modern interpretation of the classic Ghana Airways design, with bold red, yellow, and green stripes sweeping across the fuselage and the black star shining proudly on the tail. Many envision the first flight taking off from Kotoka International Airport, with dignitaries, journalists, and ordinary citizens watching as Ghana's flag carrier soars once again. It would not only mark the return of a national symbol, but also the dawn of a new economic chapter. Still, challenges remain. Establishing a national airline requires substantial capital investment, careful management, and the ability to compete in an increasingly competitive global market. Fuel costs, international regulations, and global economic trends all play a role in determining profitability. But this time, Ghana's approach appears more cautious and calculated. The partnership driven model means the burden of risk will be shared, while expertise from established carriers will help ensure operational excellence. The government's willingness to listen to experts and incorporate best practices suggests that lessons from the past have indeed been learned. International observers have also expressed optimism. Aviation analysts see Ghana's move as timely given Africa's rapidly growing air travel market. The International Air Transport Association, IATA, projects that African air passenger numbers will double over the next 2 decades, driven by economic growth, urbanization, and a young population. Ghana's strong democratic record, stable economy, and strategic location make it a natural contender to become one of the region's key aviation players. A successful national airline could therefore be both an economic catalyst and a powerful symbol of African progress. At home, the revival is already sparking renewed interest in aviation education and career development. Training institutions are reporting increased enrollment in aviation management and pilot training programs. Young Ghanaians are once again dreaming of careers in the skies, not as employees of foreign airlines, but as proud representatives of their own national carrier. For the older generation who remember the golden era of Ghana Airways, this revival carries deep emotional meaning. It is the restoration of something cherished, something uniquely Ghanaian. As the groundwork continues and negotiations move forward, President Mahama's administration remains confident. The goal is not merely to launch flights, but to build a sustainable institution that embodies Ghana's values of integrity, service, and excellence. The new airline is expected to operate both domestic and international routes, connecting major African cities such as Lagos, Nairobi, Johannesburg, and Dakar, while also linking Accra with key global destinations in Europe, the Middle East, and North America. Cargo operations are also being considered, given Ghana's expanding exports of perishables, textiles, and technology components. Every aspect of the plan reflects strategic foresight to make the airline not just a flag bearer, but a vital instrument of economic development. In the years ahead, as the first aircraft takes to the skies bearing the Ghanaian colors, it will represent far more than a commercial enterprise. It will embody the spirit of national resilience and ambition. It will remind the world that Ghana, despite challenges and setbacks, continues to rise and redefine itself with each generation. And for Ghanaians watching from every corner of the world, it will be a proud moment, a reminder that the Black Star still shines brightly in the sky. The story of Ghana's national airline revival is therefore not just about planes, routes, or profits. It is about identity, legacy, and future vision. It is about a country reclaiming its place among nations with pride in its skies and confidence in its capabilities. The path ahead will demand commitment, professionalism, and transparency. But if executed well, the revived airline will become a symbol of Ghana's progress, a moving ambassador that carries not only passengers, but also the nation's dreams, aspirations, and unwavering belief that its best days are still to come.